We all know someone like this. Someone who used to be everywhere online, posting lunches, gym selfies, weekend trips, jokes at 2 a.m. Their feed wasn't just active. It was alive. They didn't seem like the type to ever disappear. Until one day, they did. It starts quietly. A missing story here, a skipped selfie there. Then their page looks a little emptier. Then one day, you check again, and half of their old photos are gone. No explanations. No taking a break. No emotional goodbye. Just silence. And while everyone else casually assumes they're busy, you can't help noticing that silence like this rarely comes without a reason. People who once showed their life so openly don't suddenly lock the doors for fun. Something happened. Maybe not out loud, maybe not in public, but something always happens. And to understand this silence, you have to look at the moments that create it. Not big dramatic moments. Small ones, the kind most people don't even see. It usually begins with a picture. A simple picture someone meant to post. They take it. They like it. They're ready to share it. But when they open the app, something in them hesitates. They try to write a caption. Delete it. Rewrite. Shorten. Delete again. Nothing feels right. It's not because the photo is bad. It's because posting suddenly feels risky. Most people don't realize this is a real psychological pattern. It's called anticipatory evaluation. Your brain predicting judgment before anything happens. It's when your mind whispers,
what if they think I'm trying too hard? What if I look different in real life? What if someone laughs? What if someone screenshots this?
and that one moment of hesitation becomes the first crack. So they close the app, tell themselves later. But later never comes. That's the first stage of digital withdrawal. Not a decision, but a feeling. Being seen doesn't feel safe today. Let me show you how deep this can run. There was a guy I used to know who almost never appears in photos anymore. Not because he's shy, he's not. He's actually funny, talkative, confident. But put a camera near him, and he subtly leans back, moves aside, looks down. He avoids the frame like it burns. This didn't happen randomly. Years ago, during a company gathering, someone took a big group photo. Everyone was smiling, shouting, messing around. Later that night, someone in the group zoomed in, not to the whole picture, but to his face. He wasn't ready in that split second. Eyes half closed, mouth caught mid-laugh, an unflattering, very human moment. They cropped his face, posted it in a private chat, added a sarcastic caption, and people laughed. He laughed too, or tried to, because that's what you do to survive the moment. But something in him shifted. Here's what psychology says about moments like that. The brain doesn't label it as a joke. It labels it as a threat. A threat to belonging, a threat to reputation, a threat to identity. This is called social evaluative pain. And the brain processes it almost the same way it processes physical pain. That screenshot didn't just embarrass him. It hurt him in a way that became stored, remembered, replayed. After that day, he changed without realizing he had changed. At the next group photo, he stepped a little aside. At the next event, he volunteered to take the picture instead of being in it. Eventually, the pattern became automatic. This isn't shyness. It's conditioning, behavioral avoidance, shaped by one moment of humiliation. And to this day, he hasn't posted a photo of himself in over 3 years. Not because he doesn't have photos, not because nothing good happens in his life, but because somewhere inside him, that old screenshot still whispers, Don't give them anything they can use. Another reason people go silent is less about fear and more about comparison. Not jealousy, that word is too dramatic. It's more of a quiet exhaustion. Imagine someone scrolling their feed. Everyone else is celebrating something, promotions, relationships, travels, achievements. Even if they're doing okay, a small voice starts forming.
Everyone seems ahead. Everyone seems happier. Why do I even post?
That soft erosion of self-value is what researchers call social comparison fatigue. It doesn't break you in one moment. It drains you slowly. Until one day, sharing your life feels like testing its worth. And when something as simple as posting becomes a measurement of value, silence feels much kinder. There are also people who disappear not because something bad happened, but because they've been performing for too long. When someone posts often without meaning to, they start curating instead of living. They notice their life through the lens of a camera instead of their own eyes. They don't enjoy the sunset, they try to capture it. They don't enjoy the moment, they try to package it. Eventually, their brain connects sharing with performing. That's when burnout arrives. Not emotional breakdown, just the sense that everything feels heavier than it used to. Posting becomes work. Captions feel forced. Moments feel staged. And so silence becomes the first real breath they've taken in a long time. Here is what people get wrong. Almost no one quits social media in a single day. It happens slowly. First, the selfies stop. Then the stories shrink. Then the replies take longer. Then the old posts disappear. Their page becomes a quiet room they forget to visit. A place they used to live, but no longer feel at home in. And eventually, they drift out of the timeline completely. Not dramatically, not angrily, just softly. But the silence has a price. People check in less, not because they don't care, but because silence looks like stability. When someone disappears online, others assume they're fine. But the truth is, silence is not proof of peace. Sometimes it's proof of emotional overload. Sometimes it's self-protection. Sometimes it's someone trying to breathe. And the people who disappear often struggle with something strange. They want connection, but visibility feels dangerous. They want to be remembered, but don't want to be seen wrong. They want closeness, but not the kind the internet gives. It's a conflict the algorithm will never understand. People think silence is the opposite of expression. But for many, silence is expression. It says, I need space. I need control. I need privacy. Or, I don't feel safe being seen right now. And none of those reasons make a person weak. They make them human. Most people eventually come back. Not with an announcement, or a motivational quote, or a dramatic rebrand. They come back the day posting feels natural again. When sharing doesn't feel like exposure, and being seen doesn't feel like being judged. Some return after weeks, some after months, some never return at all. And that's okay too, because your worth isn't built on the number of days you stay visible. And the most meaningful parts of you were never online in the first place.